Hi everybody, it's Sweetsa here at Emanate. Have you ever noticed that your mind never stops talking to you? It tells you all the things that you need to get done for your day while you're in the shower. It screams all the tasks that you didn't get done for the day while you're ready to go to bed. It even starts to whisper to you all the things you need to worry about while you're chatting with a friend. It's always saying something. There's always a constant chatter. So with that said, we are going to embark on a journey of mind madness in the month of March, where we'll explore different topics about supporting your brain, your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, and some strategies hopefully to empower you through that. So today we're going to go over 3 strategies to help support the mind to be in a place of problem solving and emotional regulation versus feeling out of control and letting your feelings run you all day long. So number 1, labeling. So if you walk into a room and you see a facial expression on someone that you're not sure what it means, or if you're in a situation where you're beginning to feel an emotion, label it. So it might look something like, oh, I feel afraid, I feel hopeful. Here's why. Labeling is actually shown to activate other parts of the brain that help support regulation. In addition to that, it decreases the activation of the amygdala, which is your fight, flight, and freeze response. So just labeling in itself will help support you in mind regulation. Number 2, reframing. So reframing is really taking one interpretation of how you see something and changing that interpretation to change the emotional meaning. So basically, if I'm looking at something in a certain way and it's negative, so I can reframe by changing the way that I interpret something. So research will show you that teaching yourself how to reframe is as effective as taking an antidepressant for 8 weeks straight. So you can reframe by asking yourself these questions in order to help you change the story that you're telling yourself. So number 1, do I have enough information? A lot of the times we make up a story in our head or write a narrative and assume we know what the other person felt or what happened in the circumstance, and the reality is we don't. So what helps with a reframe is actually getting more information so that the storytelling can stop and the ruminating can stop. Number 2, how will I feel about this in a week? And this is an opportunity to dismantle the power of your feeling, right? If something that you're feeling is really strong versus weak, you may want to ask yourself, how am I going to feel about this in a week? And if it's not that important in a week, then why are you giving it that much energy right now? Number 3, who am I making the villain? One way you'll know if you are in a spiral of a negative narrative or maybe potentially need to reframe is when you've made people in the story all good or all bad. There are some cases where you can even make yourself a villain and you're coming down on yourself pretty hard. So if you're finding yourself doing that, this is an opportunity to really recast your characters in the story and not make anyone the villain. And number 4, am I trying to predict or control the future? A lot of the times we start a negative narrative in our head or start to dysregulate when we are assuming we'll know what someone will say a week from now about a situation that's at hand. And here you have the opportunity to really practice acceptance and understand that potentially the thing that you're giving energy to and thinking about is something that you can't control, and concentrate perhaps on the things that you can control, which is what you're thinking about. So I was just told a story recently about a gentleman who parked in a no parking zone real quick to pick up his wife, his sister-in-law, and his mother-in-law. And as he just parked there, the owner of the store that the ladies were in came out screaming and yelling at him that he shouldn't park there and that he's a bleeping millennial and so on and so forth. So no one said anything. They just got in the car and drove away. The next day, the gentleman who was yelled at went to the store with a bouquet of flowers, and he handed it to the owner who yelled at him. And he said to her, "It looked like you were having a bad day yesterday, so I brought you these. Here's hoping that today is a lot better for you." And he walked out. The power of the reframe can not only really change the way that you live, they can actually change our feelings, our actions, and even our trajectory in some cases. I leave you with that. That is truly a magnificent example of the power of a reframe. So I hope that helps. Until next time, emanate your best self.